Guys, I am so sorry, but despite this title, I can't help myself. I need to try this. So here goes nothing. Holy shit. How's it going, guys? My name is Zack. Welcome back to my channel where I love discussing all brand new things cinema and entertainment. I'm so appreciative that you guys decided to click on this thumbnail today. I really hope you enjoy your stay, because on the docket today is Don't Look Up. This is a film that has a limited release in theaters right now before it hits Netflix exclusively on Christmas Eve, so I feel incredibly lucky that I jumped at the opportunity to check this one out this morning. This one was written and directed by Adam McKay, who, if that name sounds familiar, those are my fellow comedy fans out there. Anchorman, Talladega Nights, do those ring any bells? Freaking love those movies. But this one has the biggest ensemble cast you have ever seen in your life. Leonardo Dicaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Timothée Chalamet, the list goes on and on. And we follow two low-level astronomers played by Dicaprio and Lawrence who must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy the planet. So I gotta be honest, when the trailers for this movie came out, they really didn't do a whole lot for me. I didn't necessarily understand what Adam K was trying to do with this. I didn't even have a single clue what this story was even going to be about. But you know what? With a cast this star-studded, I had to go and check this one out. And I gotta tell you, I left this theater absolutely stunned. And now I've sat here and I've thought about this all day long, but Don't Look Up might just be the best movie all year. This movie blew me away. Now, on paper, yes, there are a lot of satirical elements to Don't Look Up, very similar to The Big Short, also directed by Adam McKay. Very underrated film in its own right, because that's the film that a lot of people think thrust Adam McKay onto the Academy's radar, if you will. The editing, as a matter of fact, reminded me a lot of The Big Short, with some raw elements of uncut gems thrown into the mix. Going along with the razor-sharp script that is ruthlessly funny, Adam McKay has given us my favorite movie of his since Step Brothers, which holds loads of sentimental value for me. This movie was unbelievable. Honestly, I am sitting here hoping and praying that the Academy not only nominates this for Best Picture, but I'm hoping this is ultimately the one that wins. And the reason why isn't necessarily because it's a disaster movie with the satire's clothing. You heard me right. This is a disaster movie, and it doesn't have any big blockbuster effects or cheesy one-liners thrown in. And it's also not simply because all the performances are magnificent. It isn't even because Adam McKay's direction is top tier. You know why I think this is gonna win Best Picture? This is a movie that would petrify loads of filmmakers. This is absolutely some gutsy entertainment to put out there, especially with the pandemic still going on, and especially looking at the way our country has handled this situation. It's divided the nation like it never has before. And this movie is scathingly critical of how divisive this country has become, and it's very blunt in saying that it really shouldn't be. And I'm not gonna lie, there were points where I was mortified watching this, on the verge of tears at how real this was. The writing, as I've mentioned, can be very blunt at times. It definitely knows when to be serious in the delivery of its message, but Don't Look Up also shows us that we need laughter. And that is a ballsy move for Adam McKay to actually put out a movie like this in the times we're living in right now. But I honestly don't think there's any other director who could have pulled this off. This is an absolutely courageous outing for Adam McKay, and honestly, this is my personal favorite Academy Award radar type movie after The Big Short or Vice. This is without a doubt the best one of that unofficial trilogy. And yes, it is fairly obvious the parallels in this main conflict that's represented here. And let's just say that it can be extremely tempting for any other director to lean a certain way in that political ideology. But through some witty dialogue and careful story building, this movie very smartly decides to poke fun at both sides of the argument. You know, one side is oh so desperately trying to get its message out to the people, and the other side is just in severe denial. And a lot of folks may find some tonal inconsistencies in playing this kind of material for some type of satirical black comedy. But I think if you go into Don't Look Up expecting to laugh at points, there will be loads more enjoyment for you. Now, I gotta talk about Leonardo Dicaprio because this is one of the best actors alive, and let's just say that he's been extremely picky since his Oscar win for The Revenant. And this may just be my favorite performance of his since Wolf of Wall Street, and this is a guy who's done it all at this point. Don't be surprised to see Leonardo Dicaprio walking up the steps at the Academy Awards accepting yet another Best Actor trophy. This may just be one of the most fascinating character studies you will find all year long. This is a character who's very reserved about his opinions, evolving into a man who's unrecognizable from how he was at the beginning. That's the mark of an excellent actor, understanding the circumstances the character has to go through to get to that evolution. DiCaprio himself, being an excellent actor, no surprise, was phenomenal in this movie. This character, this may be a weird analogy, but I saw this character kind of like a hybrid of Brad Pitt, ironically enough, Steve Jobs, and Dr. Anthony Fauci all rolled up into one. This may not be something every critic here on YouTube sees, but I just couldn't help but notice those in those little tics that he had. And, okay, there was one monologue that he has towards the end of the second act, which I dare not spoil its contents, but there was a raucous applause from the people sitting behind me in this theater after he was finished. And man, it was well warranted. Because Don't Look Up can be a frustrating movie to watch, but DiCaprio as Dr. Randall Mindy is echoing all of our sentiments in that one little moment. Jennifer Lawrence also, as this character, is echoing our sentiments, and she may very well win another statue for this energetic and dismayed turn that she has. She is so incredulous throughout a majority of this entire situation, especially as the person who discovers this comet. And I gotta tell you, there were instances where Jennifer Lawrence had me in stitches, absolute stitches. Now, a lot of people typically feel like running jokes wear out their welcome the longer the movie goes, especially a movie with this beefy runtime, which I did not feel a single thing of, by the way. I feel like I could sit through Don't Look Up, and I really would not have a problem with it. It's 2.5 hours, and it flew by for me. But you get what I'm saying. Some of these running jokes with a really long runtime can get a little bit repetitive. They can feel a little bit dry. But Jennifer Lawrence's joke in here about always having to pay for free snacks, now that is funny. Every time it comes up, it gets a laugh out of me. And oddly enough, the more she brings it up, the funnier it gets. Speaking of hilarious, Timothée Chalamet freaking nails it. Granted, he's introduced a lot later in the film than I was expecting, but let's just say that there's character traits that he has that I dare not spoil that I found incredible. Let's just say, don't judge a book by its cover. Rob Morgan is a performer who I think may be overlooked by a lot of people, but I think that would be a mistake for people to do so because he brings a lot of balance and sincerity to the role he has. Speaking of characters, guys, oh boy, let's talk about Queen Meryl Streep for a second. Now, I will admit that I have been very critical of how many nominations Meryl Streep has gotten from the Academy in the past. It legitimately feels like every starring vehicle she has feels like a gimme nomination every single time. You know, where she was the witch in Into the Woods, that was nominated. Florence Foster Jenkins, that one probably shouldn't have been recognized, but lo and behold they were because, you know, Meryl Streep. But here she actually gets to play the President of the United States of America, and you know what? She really understands how to get under your skin. You can definitely see why many consider her a master. I tip my cap to Meryl Streep. I really hope I see her on the Best Supporting Actress list of nominees this year. Just with how deluded she is, she can get kind of annoying, but yet she justifies her actions and her motives every single time. I love it. It's a great character. Jonah Hill as the president's son, also her chief of staff, such a fucking asshole in this film. My God. Him and Jennifer Lawrence share some death stares with one another, and they do not get on. Just some of the dialogue he has in this film, which, again, give credit to Adam McKay where it's due for how witty this script actually is. But it is just so against the norm of his personality, which is made fun of in stuff like This Is the End, another one of my favorite comedies. It even says Jonah Hill, J-Bug, J-Bone, America's sweetheart. We're so used to seeing him be the wholesome one, but he is such a whiny little jerk. Loved his performance. I could honestly go on for hours and hours and hours about how good everyone is in this film. Mark Rylance as well. You want to talk about a deluded character. This is, in my opinion, his best work since his Oscar win for Bridge of Spies. He is so delightfully wholesome in this. I mean, everyone in this movie is on top of their game. Ariana Grande has a very nice musical number towards the end. Tyler Perry's really good. This cast, Cate Blanchett, oh my God, Cate Blanchett. So fun to watch her. Absolutely scintillating character in her own right. She is basically a co-host of this talk show that she hosts along with Tyler Perry, and they basically make light of all these really serious scientific situations. If I were to have any nitpicks with Don't Look Up, I feel like Cate Blanchett's whole storyline with a certain main character was a little bit forced at first glance, but once the movie builds to its finale, and once you see where these character directions are actually going, it's fucking heartbreaking. Don't Look Up is a movie that will very much divide viewers from all political backgrounds on its subject matter. There are going to be people who will find this movie offensive. People will also be divided on the runtime. Some people may complain that this movie is too long. I personally did not have an issue with that. I was invested from the opening frame. And I can't help but respect this movie full on, not just because of these performances and the direction and the script and all this amazing stuff, but this is the most unique, blunt, and courageous movie I have seen put out there in quite some time. It may just be the best Netflix exclusive film out there to date. I'm gonna give Don't Look Up, it's well-deserved, A+. Trust me, guys, I'm not sugarcoating it. This may be the most important film to come out of the year 2021. Maybe one of the most important films to come out of this entire decade. And I strongly suggest you guys check this out as soon as you can. If it's on the big screen, great. I really do think the comedy does hit differently when there's other people around you to share it with. But if you don't feel safe going to a theater right now, that's totally fine. It does hit Netflix on Christmas Eve. Guys, I cannot recommend this enough. This is all, of course, just my opinion, and let me know what you thought of Don't Look Up down in the comments section below, and feel free to let me know what your favorite piece of satire is. Better yet, what's your favorite dark comedy? Any American Psycho fans out there? Because I love discussing all this content about all new things, cinema and entertainment and what have you. And guys, seeing that feedback always does make my day, and getting to interact with you just makes creating this content all the better for me. And if you guys are loving this content as much as I'm enjoying creating it, then I would consider smashing that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. This channel is on the road to 1,000 subscribers, a number I'm hoping to reach very, very soon. And don't forget to hammer that thumbs up button down below as hard as you possibly can as well. That would be some tremendous, tremendous help. And as always, stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. I'm just wrapping up my Spider-Man series of reviews and the hype up to No Way Home, which we're finally getting to see. And I can't wait to talk about all these amazing new holiday releases going into the brand new year. Guys, y'all are the best. Your support really does mean the world. And with all that being said, back talk, commence!